back wall of the clinic so hard the metal tray beside her clattered to the floor. She hadn't knocked. She hadn't called ahead. She had simply appeared at the front entrance of Mensah's small veterinary clinic at 11:47 on a Wednesday night, bleeding through a shirt that had long since given up trying to hold anything in. And when Dr. Kofi Mensah opened the door, she looked him dead in the eyes and said 4 words. "I can't go to the hospital. Not won't. Can't." Kofi stood there for a moment. He was a veterinarian. He treated dogs with hip dysplasia and goats with infected hooves and the occasional cat that had survived something it had no business surviving. He was not supposed to do this. He stepped aside and let her in. It took him 2 hours, 47 stitches, 3 different tools he normally used on animals that turned out to work just fine on a human being in the right hands. She didn't scream once. She sat on his examination table, jaw locked, eyes fixed on the wall, breathing through her nose like someone who had trained herself a long time ago not to make noise when she was in pain. When it was done, she looked down at his work and nodded. Once. "How much?" she said. "I shouldn't have done this," Kofi said. "You need a real hospital, a surgeon, someone who..." She reached into the bag beside her and put $10,000 on the table in cash. Kofi stopped talking. She picked up her bag, walked to the door, and disappeared into the dark without giving him a name. He stood alone in the clinic for a long time. The money sat on the table. The tray was still on the floor, where it had fallen. Outside, a dog barked twice and then went quiet. His daughter's school fees were due in 11 days. He picked up the money. For the next week, Kofi told himself it was a one-time thing. A strange night, an exception. He went back to treating animals, filing his paperwork, closing the clinic at 7 and driving home to the small flat where his daughter Akosua was usually asleep by the time he arrived. But he kept thinking about the woman's eyes. Not the wound, not the money, her eyes. The way they said, without saying anything, that going to a hospital was simply not an option that existed for her. Not a fear, not a preference, a fact. He thought about his own clinic, the back entrance that opened to a quiet side street, the supplies he kept fully stocked, the examination room that could, if a person were willing to look at it a certain way, function as a basic surgical space. He thought about Akosua's school fees. On a Tuesday, 2 weeks after the woman in the bloody shirt had walked into his life, Kofi Mensah did something that would change everything. He left the back door unlocked. He told himself he would wait 1 hour. If nobody came, he would lock it and go home and forget the whole thing. He sat in his examination room in the dark, listening to the sound of traffic fading as the night got later. At 11:10, there was a knock on the back door. The man who came in was a construction worker. Kofi could tell from the calluses and the dust still caught in the lines of his knuckles. He had a gash across his forearm that needed cleaning and closing, and a look on his face that was equal parts pain and embarrassment. "My friend said someone here might help," the man said carefully, "without paperwork." "Sit down," Kofi said. He cleaned the wound. He closed it. He charged a fraction of what a private clinic would have charged, and the man paid in cash, shook his hand with real feeling, and left through the back door the same way he had come in. Kofi sat alone again and looked at the cash in his hand. The next Tuesday, 3 people came. The Tuesday after that, 6. Within 2 months, the back door on Tuesday and Thursday nights had become something the city's invisible population seemed to know about. The way people know about things they're not supposed to talk about, but talk about anyway. A woman came in with a burn across her shoulder from a cooking accident she couldn't afford to treat properly. A teenager arrived with a broken finger that had been badly set by someone who didn't know what they were doing. An older man came in so quietly, Kofi almost didn't hear him, with an infection in his leg that had been getting worse for 3 weeks, because he had no insurance and no money and had been hoping it would resolve on its own. It would not have resolved on its own. Kofi worked on all of them. He worked through the nights. He charged what people could pay, which was sometimes not very much, and he asked no questions, and they asked no questions, and everyone left through the back door without looking back. What he noticed, what surprised him most, was who they were. He had assumed somewhere in the back of his mind that a secret clinic operating in the dark would attract a certain kind of person. He had prepared himself for that. He had told himself he would deal with it. But they were not criminals. They were the city's exhausted working class. Market women, security guards, mechanics. Young men who had jobs that could fire them for taking sick days and couldn't risk a hospital visit showing up anywhere official. People who had fallen through every gap the system was supposed to catch them in, and had learned to handle things quietly because handling things quietly was the only option they had left. Kofi started stocking extra supplies. He reorganized the back room. He got better at what he was doing, not just as a vet adapting to human patients, but as a doctor, a real one, the kind of people coming through his back door deserved. The clinic started making real money. New equipment arrived, a proper autoclave, better lighting in the examination room. He upgraded his suture materials and bought a portable ultrasound machine that he told his daytime clients he used for large animals, which was not entirely a lie. And then one evening, he came home to find Akosua sitting at the kitchen table with an envelope in her hand, smiling the way she only smiled when something genuinely good had happened. She had been accepted to university. Full program. The fees were significant. He could pay them. He sat across from his daughter and looked at her face and felt something settle in his chest that had been unsettled for a very long time. He didn't tell her where the money was coming from. He told himself he would figure out an exit, a proper ending to the backdoor arrangement, something clean. He just needed a little more time. If you're enjoying this story so far, you already know what kind of content we make here. Hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this story is worth sharing, and it costs you nothing.